Hi everybody, Jamie Kelly here with Just Awesome Karaoke. I'm sorry again, I said this in the last video too. I'm sorry this video is taking me so long. I've been sick a couple times this year and currently going through a kidney stone, which is always fun. And I hurt my rib cage, so yeah, I'm just kind of falling apart. And I need a haircut pretty badly if you can't tell, so my apologies for that. I am coming to you from a little bit of a different location than I normally do. You guys might, well, this is a really cool Maryland road portrait. You guys might remember this place as the first, where I did my first announcement video for the relaunch of Just Awesome Karaoke in 2012. Our first releases were 2005, the two Sun albums recorded at Sun Studio itself. And 2012 was our 1254 that we came out with. And 7 years ago this month is when I made that video. At least I think it was 7 years ago this month. Anyway, so it's crazy how time flies. We are in such a different place than we were back then, even. The Master Series is getting ready to come out here in a month and a half, 2 months at the most. And it's exciting. You know, we now have an entirely analog chain. I talked about that last time. The reverbs, the compressors, the microphones, everything that we've got now is so much more advanced and so much more vintage and accurate than it was even from 2012, but especially 2005. It's just kind of nuts how far we've come, and that's very exciting. So, anyway, I want to kind of get to the point. I want to tell you about where things are with the label and where we're gonna go. And it's there's a lot to talk about. So apologies in advance. It's gonna be. I'm gonna keep this as short as I can. I'm talking a little faster than I normally do, so it's gonna be a little bit of a lengthy video. First off, some really good news. The two Master Series releases, Loving You and Live in the Wild Early Days, are we have hit our lowball pre-order goal. So we're going to give it a little more time for a reason I'm going to go into here in a little bit, but we have hit that goal. So we now have what we need for release. Now, the lowball goal means no pre-order bonus track. So if we want to hit the pre-order bonus, we need to hit the main goal. And the one thing I didn't talk about last time is what the bonus track would be for Live in the Wild Early Days. The bonus track for Loving You is the end title version of Got a Lot of Living to Do, and now I'm ready to talk about what the other one is. Live in the Wild Early Days, if we hit our main pre-order goal, will be the Milton Berle version of Hound Dog, and I know a lot of people are excited about having a track for that. We've had a lot of requests, so I thought, hey, that'd be a pretty cool thing to do. So that will be what we do if we hit our main pre-order goal. So that's kind of cool. If you have not pre-ordered yet, you will want to do so for a couple of reasons. The first off is you get a massive discount because once the pre-order period is gone, each of these albums will be $300 a piece. But right now, during the pre-order period, you can get each album for the price of a single track. $60 gets you the full album, and if we hit our main pre-order threshold, and not just the low bar, if we hit our main pre-order threshold, each album will have a bonus track that's only given to people who pre-order. So anytime, so not only will you pay more for the album after the pre-order period, you won't get the bonus track. So $60 for a full album and a bonus track for each of that's $60 per album, and you get the full album in the bonus track. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, so and that's from the response of just the initial pre-order song that we send out. When you pre-order, you get one of the tracks right away, and then the rest come when the pre-order period, just after the pre-order period is finished. And the initial reaction to these is we've had people talking about how excited they are and that these are the tracks they're most excited to perform out of anything in their catalog, which is really awesome, and I love that. Now, My preference, back when we first started the label, had a lot of big ideas and big dreams and everything else with it. I would love it if we had 1,000 guys buying the albums every time we put them out, because then we could sell tracks for, we could sell the album for $20 a piece. That's never going to happen. It's just not realistic. There's not enough people buying albums for any label to do that, which is unfortunate. But I want to kind of get into a little bit of the other half of what I wanted to talk about today. So, the level of engagement, we have supporters that are really loyal. They buy everything that we do. They're always looking out for us. But as with anything, and some of the people that popped up after us are figuring it out too. After the first couple of releases, the shiny new petty thing is kind of worn off, and it takes longer for people. It takes longer to get pre-orders. It takes longer for the entire process to kind of finish, and everybody has a different reaction to that, and the fact that track trading is still a big problem. People are now trying to resell tracks that were not made by them. That's not legal. People are trying to sell CDs of them singing on tracks that we've built and other people have built, without paying for the license to use that from us or from whatever company put out those tracks. That's not legal either. We've seen a lot of people cracking down. We've had to crack down on some folks. We know that a lot of people in the ETA business don't really have a lot of experience in what is, for lack of a better term, the real music industry. They don't understand the way the rights work. They don't understand the way any of that stuff works. And we're always glad to help people understand what that process is. So whenever we reach out to people to say, hey, you're really not supposed to do that. You have to take that down. We try to be as nice about it as we can, because we think that that's important. That's part of letting folks know, what they may not have understood before, and that's the thing. So, with all of these things happening, a lot of different labels have different ideas about what they want to do to combat these problems, and these are sometimes consistent and bothersome problems and really nasty problems, and eat into what labels need to survive. Some labels say, okay, they just won't make tracks to the quality that they should make tracks to, and that's one way to go. Other places restrict access, which is totally understandable. We've got a little bit of a different approach, and that's making our tracks more exclusive. And I hope you guys are sitting down, because we're hitching this next price jump on what kind of pre-order reception we get for these first two Loving You and Live in the Wild Early Days albums. If we get a lot more pre-orders, then we won't have to do this. But right now, we have the most vintage advanced studio of anybody. Nobody has. We spent $160,000 on just the equipment, and so before a musician is paid for a single note, we paid $160,000. I understand why nobody else wants to spend that. It's totally insane for most people to be able to do, but we've come to an understanding that that's the only way to get the sound to be exactly what it needs to be. If you want it to sound right, that's what you have to do. And so that's what we've done, and the results are absolutely amazing, and I'm very excited about where things are going to go. Now, as I said, I'd much rather have these tracks be inexpensive, but with all of the pitfalls and people not understanding the value of what they're getting, we're basically selling a Lamborghini for Walmart prices, and that might be changing. And they always say that business is carrots and sticks. I'm more of a carrot guy. I'd much rather dangle carrots than, brandish sticks. But I guess this is going to be one of those videos where, rubber hits the road at a certain point. You got to get the stick out at some point. So here we go. We've been having a lot of internal discussions about how to combat certain things that, like certain pitfalls with tracks that I was talking about before. And we mentioned these things to a couple of our largest supporters that they buy everything and they've gone above and beyond. They've bought multiples at times for things, and then I mentioned something to them, and they said yeah, and they said they would be willing to do this, and they proved it. So it's not speculation. We know the support exists, and the what we're talking about is if the engagement isn't where it needs to be, then after these first two releases, after Loving You and Live in the Wild Early Days, then we would be moving to a price structure of $1,000 per song. I'm going to repeat that because that's I know that's substantial. $1,000 not per album, not per set of albums, $1,000 for each individual song. Now, that's not the way I'd prefer to do it. But when you've got two of our largest supporters saying that they'd be willing to do that, I'm going to be honest, that's very hard to pass up. It enables us to open up and do a lot of the things that we've been talking about, a lot of the things that we started working on. And I'm going to talk about those in a minute because those are actually really, really exciting. So, the whether or not this happens or not, that's totally up to you guys. The pre-order period for Live in the Wild Early Days and Loving You in September 1st. The albums will come out not too long after that. By Special Request Volume 3 is also in the same boat. That's going to be coming out middle of September. So we'll have that. We'll have 3 albums in September for everybody, which is pretty cool. And then after that, it will depend on how the orders were, where we move to as a label, if we're still accessible. And I do want to give a shout out to the people because I know we've got some supporters out there that they love the label, they support the label, but they're on a limited budget, they're on a fixed budget. And for you guys, all I can say is I am sorry if this is what we have to do. It's not wouldn't be my preference. This is something that we have to do. It's not something that we just want to do. It's this is an agreed thing. This is a need thing. And for you guys, if my heart breaks for you guys because you've contacted and been so loving and wonderful and supportive over the years. For those of you on a fixed budget like that, God bless you for supporting the label, and anything that you can do to spread the word, tell people about these, and get the pre-orders up so we can keep our current price structure. That'd be awesome. Because I hate having our prices be out of range for them because I know how much they love what we do. We are going to be keeping our album license prices. And we figured out how that's all going to work, and we'll talk about that at another video. But anyway, some of the things that we're going to be doing with Master Series moving forward. Haven't talked about this yet because I was waiting for the support levels to increase before we talked about it as a surprise. But we got Millie Kirkham into the studio to record some songs not too long before she passed away. And Millie was a good friend, and Millie was really awesome. And so we've got some stuff that she's a part of, releases that will come down the pike, especially if we have the new pricing structure. So that's pretty cool. Also talked to Bob Moore, and I've known Ray Walker for years. And so getting them on future stuff is definitely going to be something that we're moving toward going forward. So that's really cool. Also, we're just opening the doors to anything. We're going to be finishing King Creole. We're going to be moving on to all kinds of projects that I wanted to do for a long time. We just haven't had the resources. We were waiting for the resources to come in. With this, we'll be able to help pay off the studio, get everything that we need together, so that way we can do some pretty amazing releases. So that part's really exciting. And I'm, like I said, I'm not looking forward to the price jump, but if it does have to happen, there's a lot of exciting things with that. So anyway, I would love to keep the current pricing. That's on you guys and gals. And so just best thing that you can do is tell other people about the label, and and other solid labels too. If you see, people need to know about these things so that way they can buy them. So, but tell people about Loving You and Live in the Wild early days. Get the pre-orders. Any help we can get to get pre-orders coming in will help us keep releasing albums at that pricing, and not just doing songs for the much higher the much higher exclusive pricing. And no matter what, we're going to be putting out the best tracks money can buy, and with a dedication that if we move to the, especially if we move to the new pricing structure, uh, each each song, as far as we're concerned, will be the last track you'll need for that version of that song. Period. And that if we ever find that there's something that um, we need to, that if we ever pick up a piece of equipment that changes the game for us again, I don't see that happening because we've got the full chain now. But if that ever does happen, and we go back and change something or move something around, everybody that purchased the song previously will get the new one, or will get the update. So you'll never have the next best. You'll always have the best, and that's my promise for doing for if we have to move to that as an as a compensatory thing for that. But anyway, thank you so much. God bless you all for supporting the label and your love and your support. And yeah, so lots of big, exciting things and some scary stuff on the horizon. But like I said, we have till we got till September 1st, and before the new stuff takes effect. So yeah. So anyway, God bless you all. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.